Good morning, welcome back to the vlog. I think it's vlog 40. We are at Glen Helen and it is shootout time, and it wouldn't be shootout time unless it was windy. So perfect timing, blowing out here at Glen Helen. And behind me, I have the 2026 RMZ 450. It'll be the first bike we shoot. We have 12 bikes in our lineup. Today's a Friday. We're shooting 6 or 7 today. And then on Monday, we're gonna shoot the rest of the lot, plus a group photo and video. And then Tuesday, we're putting at least 6 of our guys on all the bikes for a shootout. Now, that's not gonna be the only day that we do a shootout. We're actually gonna do a manufacturer day, some more testing on our own at Glen Helen and various other tracks to come up with a final 1 through 12 result for you guys to check out. But first up, the RMZ 450. Like most of you probably know, no changes whatsoever on this bike from 2025. The good thing about this bike, it's affordable. And it's one of the lower priced bikes in the class, which is good. The rear shock's been kind of a thing for this bike. A lot of our riders feel uncomfortable in the rear shock, but the bike turns well. The power is decent. The reliability, from what we hear, is not too shabby either. And for a lower price point, bare bones, no map switches up top, Kickstarter, but for an everyday guy, perfectly fine motorcycle, and you can go fast. Ken Roxon, you've even seen Carson Brown on an RMZ. If those guys can go fast on an RMZ, you can too. We're done with the Suzuki. We got done with the Triumph TF 450X. That was the next one on the list. For the TF 450X, quite a bit of positive reviews early on when it was tested in Georgia last year. For the TF 450X, obviously comes with launch control, quick shift, traction control, all the buttons up here, pro taper handlebars, electric start, aluminum frame, KYB suspension, DID Dirt Star rims. And yes, it does come with an app, but you do have to spend some money if you want to buy that app and then open up the bike even more. But we'll see how this bike does against the rest. Because again, we have 12 this time. So we'll see where the bike from England stacks up. All right, next up is the 2026 KTM 450 SXF. I've been riding the 2025 factory edition 450 SXF for dirt bike. But in standard trim, obviously you have the cast triple clamps, the air forks, obviously front to back, they're all orange. A couple years ago, they went away from the white fender like some of the Japanese did as well. You have the Brembo braking components, hydraulic clutch, map switch up top. I do enjoy how narrow and thin this is. Start and stop on the right side, but these buttons can feel a little stiff. I kind of miss the old style buttons on this bike. Sleek design. The frame is obviously the updated one, a little bit more compliant for your average rider. Again, WP shock in the rear. Pretty indestructible clutch, but with 12 bikes, anything can happen, and some have just frankly gotten better. The Yamaha in particular has gotten better, so we'll see where the Yamaha places. All right, next up we have the 2026 Gas MC 450F. Shooting photos and video, getting this thing all its beauty shots for Ron Lawson to talk about all the nitty gritty and what we came up with. Pretty much on the gas, as you know already. No map switch, the KTM and Husqvarna do. You still have the similar start and stop switch that I talked about on the KTM. Not a huge fan of this version. It's a little harsh. Even on the factory side, you notice that the factory ones went back to the old start button on that. WP suspension, valved a little softer, cast triple clamps, and on the gas you'll have a BrakeTech hydraulic clutch as well as braking power versus the Brembo that comes on the KTM. A little bit milder of an engine characteristic, different air box than the other two cousins in the class. It does come with Maxxis tires. So you're kind of getting the DNA of the other two Austrian bikes at a lower price point and a little bit different feeling on the track. It could be great for someone that is going racing, is buying multiple bikes, save a little money because you're gonna hop them up anyway. Or maybe this milder platform with suspension and power fit you better than the other two that can come off as peppy, a little stiff. Once again, the updated frame, a lot more compliant than the previous one. And there is no resonator on the header pipe, and you have a kind of cast clutch cover with the G on it, which is different than the other two. That's it. I did clamps and tires.
Does it have the resonator?
No. All right, next up is the 2026 TM MX 450. Now this is the course version, so what that means, it has some upgraded components on it. And actually at TM, if you wanted to, you could order and kind of make your own, build your own bike, order these individually. It'll be made in Italy and then shipped to you. So this bike is loaded down with a couple extra goodies, as is electric start. You have your map switches. What's really interesting about this bike is the fuel tank is under the seat here. So you can see actually on this side, there's your fill cap. Up front, you're gonna have Brembo braking components, but out back, we have Nissan. So a little interesting on that. Another bike that has two different brands on it is actually the Kawasaki KX 450. It has a Brembo front and a Nissan rear as well. Some things we've become accustomed to, again, hydraulic clutch, the electric start. That's all stuff that only a few years ago was, you know, high end and is now become standard on all the 450s in the class. And you can see the cases here. The ignition cover is pretty interesting with the fins. Aluminum frame, which most of the bikes besides the Austrians have. See that gold chain. And again, on the clutch cover, you'll have the fins and the TM badging on that. And as far as I know right now, we're the only publication that's gonna have the TM in the mix for our 450 Shootout. So pretty exciting to have TM in the Shootout and see where it stacks up. All right, next up is the 2026 Beta 450 RX. Same bike that comes out of the showroom floor and Benny Bloss and Mitchell Oldenburg race at Supercross. They've definitely grown in size over the last couple years. Brand new shop in Paso Robles, California. But what you see here is the 2026 450 RX. Electric start, pretty cool up top. You have your map switches actually integrated into the handlebar. It has traction control, obviously your mapping, electric start like I said, and you have a Nissan front brake and then a Brembo hydraulic clutch. And it's got KYB suspension front and rear. And you can see the big header exhaust on this bike. It's pretty cool. It's just got some little red trinkets on it, the oil fill cover, black clutch cover, and then off the swing arm here you got this silver and black paint over it, which is kind of cool. You got your pipe guard. The pipe is very exposed, little number plates. From early testing from some of our guys, Mark Tilley and even Jared Hicks, the bike is a longer feeling motorcycle, but it is pretty stable at speed. It'll be interesting to see where this stacks up against the rest of the 450s, because we have some that can turn on a dime but may not be as stable, and then we have some that have kind of bridge that gap and are stable and turn pretty darn well. So we'll see how the Beta 450 RX goes up against the rest of the bikes. Last one on the list for the day, just part one of doing all these bikes. Number 7 is the 2025 Husqvarna FC 450. Now it's a 2025 because Husky is not bringing in a 2026, but they will have a factory edition model that will be a 2026. That's what we're hearing from inside sources right now. We'll see what happens, but don't fret, there are more Husqvarnas on the way and they have plans to be hanging around for the long haul. Husqvarna was cool with it, donated a fresh bike for us to shoot photos and videos on. It is in the Shootout as is. So just like the KTM, it has the map switch up top. You have quick shift traction control. Again, the start and kill switch up here. You have Brembo hydraulic clutch, as well as Brembo front and rear brakes. WP suspension, obviously a different plastic layout than the KTM. I really enjoyed this plastic layout because it's just a little bit curved. It's like the 2021 to 2023 KTMs. Gripper seat cover, all blue. This is a little bit higher in price. Different airbox. You have the DID Dirt Star wheels, black sprocket, the polished hubs, but again, pretty similar to the KTM, but a little bit different all on its own. So we'll see how this bike stacks up against the other 450s. The Husqvarna has actually over the years done pretty darn well against the other bikes. It's almost won several years, to be honest, but we'll see where it lands in 2026 now with a fresh order of bikes that we haven't had in the 450 Shootout in quite some time, and some newcomers like the Triumph. And we're back. It's day 2 of the 2026 450 Motocross Shootout preview in our vlog 40. So you saw the first day we shot 7 bikes. Well, we're back at Glen Helen once again, and we got more bikes to shoot individually. This is when Ron Lawson, the man, the myth, the legend himself, will talk about each bike and what we found out on each one before we have a group shot. And then obviously tomorrow will be all the riding. Now that's, you know, like I said earlier in the video, that's not one day of testing and then we figure out who the winner is. This is over months of time that we've tested these bikes, and what you see in that video is just one day that they're all together in the same place, and we can show them off, but really this is months and months of work, and it kind of just files down into these 2 to 3 days. And here's the Covey MX450. Little backstory on this. Ron is a madman. This was up in Bakersfield, California. Ron lives in Corona, California, and I live in Santa Clarita, so you would think I would have been able to pick it up. No, I was busy. I was actually doing something else. Ron drove yesterday to make sure that this bike was here and in our hands and part of the 12 bike shootout. You've been doing this since the dawn of age, since there were 2 wheels on dirt bikes. What drove you on a Sunday to go all the way to Bakersfield and get this bad puppy?
You know, the hardest part is just getting 12 bikes together at the same time. And the guys at Covey up in Utah just got their container of brand new bikes in. This bike was the one that we tested 2 months ago. The container didn't make it through customs in time. And so John Major of Sam Benson Racing agreed to let us have it back. I mean, this is a bike that he actually bought after we tested it last time. He let Mike Metzger race it once. And so on a Sunday, he wasn't even there. He had his mother-in-law open up the shop for me. And you know, some of the graphics aren't quite right on it. You see, this one, it says 250 on the shroud here because I had to grab that from a different bike. We've got Jared Hicks here who's going to replace the graphics on the sides today before we start shooting. You know, nothing's easy. Every one of these bikes has a story. Every one of them required someone else to go way out of their way for us to put this together.
Yeah, 12 bikes is a lot. I vaguely remember telling you in 2022 when we did our big, massive Hooba Jooba shootout, never again. Never again. Tilly said it, I said it. I think you even said it, Ron, but here we are doing 12 bikes.
And this one is even this is a step higher because that one was 12 bikes, but it only involved 8 manufacturers.
Right.
Each one of these has a different name on it. I mean, you could argue that the KTM, Gas, and Husky are the same manufacturer, but they're different bikes. And these, God, 12 different manufacturers. That's just wild.
And in a world of even more saturated outlet media news and who gets bikes, it's even that much harder to line these up because everyone's trying to get these and do a shootout at some point and time up their own. So a little hectic, but we're making it happen, and we are out here at GH ready to rock and roll for day 2. All right, next up is the 2026 Ducati Desmo 450. We actually just got our hands on this bike for the very first time just recently. Obviously the map switch, I do like how narrow and small this is. It's not all blocky. Electric start. They do have magnesium cases, and obviously the Desmo engine that everyone talks about. Aluminum frame, pretty cool gripper, plastic cover here. Brembo brakes, polished hubs, Brembo hydraulic clutch. Showa suspension, spec'd out with Pirelli MX32 tires. And this is Ducati's first attempt at a 450 motocrosser. They do have years and years of experience making dirt bike or making motorcycles, but we'll see how much of that experience transfers over onto the dirt side, and if they're really competitive with the Japanese and Austrian brands and a few of the others. I'm sure all of our test riders will be excited to try this out, some for the very first time. All right, so we're setting up. Ron, the mad dog, well, Tilly's mad dog, but Ron's a madman. Jared's bringing in bikes. Ron's getting his photography handled for the magazine, the website, all kinds of stuff. Ron takes a lot of time setting up lights and making it as beautiful as possible for you guys to check out. One bike I already shot, didn't talk about it, is the 2026 Yamaha YZ450F. And while it does look the same as the 2025, there are a lot of changes under the hood that these guys did to improve this motorcycle. All the way around, suspension, chassis, everything to get more rider comfort and stability and just confidence out of this bike. They took a lot of what people said about the 2025. They took that back home. They did their homework, a lot of testing in the off season, and came out with this 2026. Even for guys in our test department, they noticed it. They noticed the differences on the 2026 over the 2025, and for the most part, it was all positive. So will the Yamaha, because it did pretty well last year, will the Yamaha do better in the 2026 version? The 2025 Shootout last year, KTM did really well, and Yamaha was right there biting on their ankles. So will the Yamaha be able to sneak in and take that #1 plate? We'll have to see, but it is definitely one of the bikes to keep an eye on in this 12 bike shootout. All right, next up, this is the 2026 Kawasaki KX450. No changes for 2026. It's always done pretty well in our shootouts. It's actually won a lot. It's a pretty mild engine. It doesn't do anything really amazing, but it doesn't do anything really bad either. It's kind of just right down the middle. All of our test riders can jump on it and go pretty good right out of the gate. Hydraulic clutch, Brembo front brake, Nissan rear. The phone mapping so you can tune your bike even more. The map switch off here, I've always mentioned it's a little blocky in comparison to the others. If they could make that a little smaller, just the chance of hitting this thing or even hitting it on your chest, really likely. But we'll see how the Cowie does. It could slip in, it could surprise some people because it is such an easy bike to ride. But we're gonna get photos and video of this bad boy right now, and we're winding down before we do our group shot. All right, next up is the 2026 Covey MX450. It's obviously got those wild teal plastics. They do feature a map switch, hydraulic clutch, electric start. A lot of things we're accustomed to on the high-end motorcycles. Split triple clamps. You can see the Tysco brakes up front. And you saw already, if you follow the YouTube channel, we did a full test on this bike and the MX250. And surprisingly enough, it did pretty well. And test rider Jared Hicks even had some comments saying the bike was peppy, it was stable at speed, and he was thoroughly impressed on both the 250 and 450. So don't count this bike out just yet. You might be thinking, oh no, this bike's not gonna, you know, be able to hang with some of the others in the class. We'll see how this goes once we get all of our test riders in one place, get this bike on the track, and they're going back-to-back comparisons. The Covey might do better than you think in a 12 bike shootout. And we're excited and thankful to have these guys be a part of it. And we are the only media outlet with the MX450. All right, last up is the 2026 Honda CRF 450R. If you remember last year, 2025, they went with a more rigid platform, but the frame has been changed and the suspension. And in that rigid concept, they actually got the bike to be more compliant. Showa front and rear suspension, hydraulic clutch, electric start, map switches, all the bells and whistles that we've become accustomed to across the 450 lineup. Jared Hicks has actually been our resident Honda test rider. He's got quite a setup down right out of the gate. especially since the bike went unchanged in 2026. But we're excited to see what the rest of our test riders think and where the Honda ranks in the 450 field with 12 motorcycles. All right, all the bikes just got shot solo, and now they are finally all lined up. And man, that is a lot of bikes. You don't realize how many there are until they're all together like this. So working down the row, we have the Beta the 450 RX, the Ducati Desmo 450. We have the Gas MC 450F, the Honda CRF 450R, the Husqvarna FC 450, the KTM 450 SXF, the Cowie KX 450, the Suzuki RMZ 450, the Triumph TF 450X, the Yamaha YZ 450F, the TM MX 450, and the Cove 450 MX. So all 12 bikes lined up. We're gonna get photos and video of this setup here, and that is about the tail end of our shooting part. Tomorrow these boys are going to get out and they're going to get to ride all of these back to back, compare what these bikes can do on a rough Glen Helen track. All right guys, and that is it. We are wrapped up. We've got all 12 bikes shot, photography and video. The next thing we do is we get them out here tomorrow on track with at least 6 of our test riders, and we run all day and we capture video. So our guy Ron Lawson can talk about each bike. We can show you static details and some riding footage. And again, like I've been just hammering it out all video, this isn't a 3-day test. We've been testing them over months. This is just a little bit, and this is kind of the grand finale as we button everything up, give you all the dyno numbers, the weights, the prices, and how they stack up together. But this is all 12 bikes lined up, and we can't wait to figure out who reigns king in the 450 class. And like always, our vlog comes out first, so it's a little teaser. It's just a little bit of what we're doing behind the scenes. Our full 2026 450 shootout will be right around the corner, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that. If you don't subscribe, better do it now so you get an alert when our 450 shootout is live and ready to go. Also head over to dirtbikemagazine.com where we have the latest news, reviews, and bike tests in the motocross and off-road world. And until next time, we'll see you down the trail.